Only real music's gonna last. All that other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow.
That was a big clap.
First time out here.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Onlyvibes podcast. This is episode 2. We are here today with Brennan, George, myself, Jay, and our homie, Bryn.
Hello. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Today's a special one because not only is Bryn our first guest, he's also our first guest.
Real quick, we need a soundboard. I need that air horn. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll put an edit in.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
And then we'll put like some crazy sound effects in the back.
Boys.
Welcome to the pod, bro.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's always nice to, connect with like-minded individuals and share the ideas on where things are going in the world, and I'm happy to be here, so thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. So let's give a little recap on the weekend. I mean, I was with Bryn doing some crazy shit. You boys had a pretty big weekend yourselves, it seemed like.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Jay, fired away. What'd you get up to, man?
Just working.
Yeah?
Just working, man. Just working at the bar and whatnot, doing what I usually do. Not out here throwing ragers like this fucking guy. Jesus Christ! Hold on, I'm gonna throw in some B-roll of what happened this Friday.
Movie.
3, 2, 1, cue.
No, all right, okay. So let's dive in. Bryn, tell us what you're doing. Tell us what the fuck happened Friday, because to be honest, I blacked out. I don't remember much, man. But it was a hell of a good night.
Last thing I heard was goats.
Well, I'm essentially just a glorified promoter at this point. So I go across Canada hosting parties, and people come to them, and I just try to make it the craziest experience possible for everyone there. So it's kind of part of a bigger plan of the company that I created, but working our way up slowly. It's a good revenue stream for us, and I just love doing it. And me and my friends all get to party and have fun. So that's like ultimately what the goal is for me. And so that's kind of what I do. The company that I own is called Wildin Media Group. It's I started it like 4 years ago, just as a small Instagram page, and it's just grown up to be so much more now. And so yeah, one of the big things, like I said, hosting events, and that was Friday. So that was the B-roll that you guys all just saw. Yeah. And
Bro, me and Bryn met 4 years ago. This guy took me out for lunch. We started talking, and he was speaking these crazy, crazy dreams. And I was like, man, this guy's got something. Yeah, I called you Dave Portnoy genius. I remember that, bro.
Yeah.
And now seeing what you've done with Wildin, where Wildin's grown to, absolutely phenomenal job, bro. You're a crazy motherfucker.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I like to stay well under the radar, so I don't want to. I'm not doing this for anyone else other than like me and my friends, just to have fun and make some money. And so the goal is to I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the company, and just to provide good experiences overall to everyone.
Bro, it's definitely not just like about you or even your employees, but the fans, like the audience, the people at the bar that night, like they were loving the shit out of that party. Yeah. So give us a rundown. Friday night, walk us through. We went to Lethbridge. We were at the brew house. Give us a rundown on everything that happened. Like, your capacity was insane, bro.
Our total capacity, this was our biggest event that we've ever hosted in Lethbridge. So it was like are actually the biggest one I've ever hosted ever. So in any of the cities, it's the biggest one. Our total capacity was 1,600 in the event, and for the people who have been there, there's 3 floors there. So we did dance floor on. They have an upstairs patio, they have a main floor, and then they have a basement, which is, the basement is already kind of set up like a nightclub. So we just like got everyone going in there, and then main floor, and then the upstairs, which is usually just like a seating area. We moved all the chairs off and just turned it into a massive dance floor. But shit got so wild. I had no clue kind of going into it what it was going to look like. I booked it for at the end of like the school schedule. Lethbridge is like a really big, university town. There's 120,000 people there, and 15,000 of them are students. So divided by half in the college, half in the uni. So my goal was to, kind of get an end of year party, and our original goal was to do an outside beer gardens as well. But we kind of got some really poor weather, like a week before, and I had to make the call to unfortunately cancel that portion of the event. But I think that just like ultimately made the inside experience way crazier, just because we
100 times.
In total, I think we did about 2,100 people through that door. So
that's in and out all night.
In and out, yeah. So it was like, it was completely packed, and for such a small like location like Lethbridge, Alberta,
just a small city in general.
Yeah,
like
to have that, and like it's like you're getting this like Vancouver, Toronto nightclub feel in a small little farming town, right? So
like who would expect, like who would have thought 2,000 people
literally and I think a big part of it, which I'm like starting to realize, is like market saturation is like very like real. And so when you're trying to host a party in these like large cities, you're competing
we
with
talked about this last night,
so many other people, whereas when you go into these small like locations, it's really easy to just get 100% of the market share. So in Lethbridge, for example, the only other people that are hosting parties is the uni and the college, but they're a little bit they're kind of sanctioned through like their board, and they don't want to do anything to do with like they don't want to do anything while COVID is potentially an issue.
Like you don't want to be that one, like the backlash is wild. Like,
exactly. And a big part of like we're still operating within the rules and regulations of AHS, so like we're following the guidelines, but we just always just trying to push that envelope, right? So that's kind of like a little bit of an ideology of like what I think when I'm going into these events. So
that's what we talked about before when we talked about doing an event up here in Calgary, and like it's a very saturated market because there's so many people
and
like doing it.
When I was thinking about it, like even us really considering doing some stuff in small towns, I was looking at Medicine Hat and Grand Prairie a few days ago. But the thing is, man, we were talking about this last night when you stopped by Home and Away, but like there's a company, DoorDash did the same exact thing,
right,
and they were like, hey man, listen, like we got all this competition, it's heavy, like all the big cities, why don't we just start with like the small rural areas and see what happens? And they became a fucking powerhouse in like 2 years, just because they said, yo, you guys can fight for whatever scraps is left in the big cities. We're gonna go into the fucking boonies and give these people something they've never seen before. And actually, if you think about it, let's say you go around Alberta doing big events, whatever, and you want to throw like a big event in Calgary, Edmonton. Now that you're known in these smaller towns, these people are like willing to drive down and be like, yo, these guys threw fucking mad wild party, let's go see what they're doing in Edmonton. Let's go see, because small town people are well known for driving. Like
of course,
people will come from Saskatchewan, bro, for like
one thing about Lethbridge is like this, it was always a crazy party city, but when I lived there a couple of years ago, it was like crazy insane house parties, right? So you actually brought the parties to the club scenes. The clubs back in my day there never had like promoters or like events. It was just Saturday night you go to Club Lion, Boss Hogs, same old. Now you've made it big there, the name that your party is, you've taken it, like talk about your expansion.
So I think like in terms of events, like I feel like we need to even go back in the timeline.
Yeah, actually I was about to say that. I was about to say before we get into expansion, like how does all start?
Well, it was it was like, this story is a crazy story, and I've told this to a lot of people, but it started off in 2019. So I started just as a meme page, just like at my school, and was posting memes and just funny things that was happening around the uni, and just pretty much whatever I could find, and like just scrapping for content. Not even because I was getting paid or anything. I just thought it was funny. Like I grew up doing that. Me and my friends, like I remember learning Photoshop in like grade 10 so that I could like Photoshop, like my friends like walking out of like buildings that are blown up and stuff like that, just because I thought it was hilarious. And you'd put AK-47s on each other and stuff and whatever. But it was like that was just like where I feel like I like grew up in it, like in just making fun of whatever and just like always laughing and just having a good time. And so just from like my point of view, I was like, I was at the uni, and like in my I was in my second year, and I was just like, man, I feel like I could do something like funny here. And there was another, I was actually roommates with a guy who ran like a confessions page for our uni, and like he had like 15,000 Facebook followers at the time, and I was just like, wow, that's so crazy. He has 15,000 people, and like but the thing is, there's no monetization whatsoever, so he was just doing it for free, and like it was a decent amount of work. Like he would come home and spend 40 minutes screenshotting every single one and posting them to this like whatever Facebook or Twitter account, and it was just fun for him. Like he was excited about that, and then the following year he had graduated, and he stopped doing it. And so there's like no Instagram page, there's no Facebook page, there's no Twitter around anything around to the uni. So it's just like only the university's Instagram page, and that was it. And I was just thinking, I'll just start one. So I started one, and posting whatever I could, just funny shit, drinking stuff that like at the time would definitely be like against Instagram guidelines, but at that time I was just posting whatever. And then had these two girls that were really good friends of mine that wanted to help out. So then they were helping a lot with the page, starting off, and so we were like, all three of us were posting, and on that we maybe got to like 1,500 followers, and like once again still completely for fun. And I had like a business, they're a pizza shop. I'm not going to say their name, but they're a pizza shop, and they just said, hey, we're interested in like promoting on your page. And I lived in a house that was right across from the pizza shop, and I don't want anyone to know who I was, and I don't want people to know that I was making money off the page. Not that I even was making any money off the page at the time, but I wanted to stay like secretive. And so I charged them $10 for 48 hours on the story. And there's like it was like the uni, and then you could walk like up this little hill, and the pizza shop was right there, and then like my house is across the street. And so I sent them an invoice on PayPal for $10, and they paid it, and then the pizza shop made $5,000 over the next 48 hours in the student deal sales that from this meme page. And I remember sitting in my house and just watching like these crowds of students go in, and it was $10 for a medium pizza and a drink, and like the pizza is like this like nice, really good quality pizza. So like even myself, I was like, yeah, it's a great deal. I went and bought it myself too, because I thought it was a good enough deal. I was like, hey, look, these guys just paid me $10, and then I went and spent it at their own place. So it's like I just got a free pizza. So I thought it was awesome. And then, but when I saw like how many people actually like utilize that ad, I was just like, wow, that's incredible. Like, I didn't come from like a marketing background, but I did come from like a pretty big like design background. I always loved video and photo and editing and all of that sort of thing. So, at that point I was just like, just keep growing it and see what happens. So, probably like a year later, we were about 5,000 followers, and people had started asking for merch. So I was just like, yeah, okay, like whatever, like I guess I'll try it. And like maybe at this point the page was making like $100 a week, so it wasn't anything crazy, and it was just like local businesses that just wanted to promote whatever on the page. And it was like pizza shops and weed stores and alcohol stores and lots of like food related places.
Super fit into the university, just pizza, weed, and liquor.
The
Right.
trifecta.
Let's go.
Yeah, so that's kind of like was like our first like brand deals, and at that point like I was just doing everything by just emailing, and like I had no like price sheets or anything. Like it was just super unprofessional. And I would just invoice them, and they'd be like, sometimes I'd forget the ads to post them, and like it was just whatever. And then they'd be like a little bit mad at me, and then I'd like give them $10 off their like next ad or something like that, because I was drunk the night before partying or whatever. So yeah, then so they were at that point. Then we wanted to make merch. So I started like a little Shopify store, which is like, I feel like this is just like the next level for any like person who wants to try to like monetize their, you know, online presence. And at this point I had to, because I was starting a Shopify, you can't like put Shopify funds into personal bank accounts. So you actually have to have a business bank account. And so at this point I registered the business as a sole proprietor under the name Wildin Official. Or it was like under my name, but the company name was like, I don't even know how it was, but I registered in Alberta as Wildin Official. And we sold merch. So I like made these little merch items, and you know, I think I made like $500 off of like my first merch drop, and like I had to put up like $1,500 of my own money, and I was like so broke at the time. To put up $1,500, then I made like $2,000. So it's like I profited $500, and I remember just thinking like, yo, that's so crazy. And the funny thing is that I put the $1,500 back in my bank account, and then I took the $500 right to the bar, and then blew it all on all my friends, and we just had like a crazy night. I'm like, yo, the company paid for this, like feeling like I was like
big baller.
Yeah, literally like, well, you know, $500 in a small town, like at $3 shots, like, I know,
put it on the business card. Put it on the business card. Put it on the business card.
So that was like my first like kind of real money of just like, from what it happened in like 24 hours. Sold the whole shop, sold it in 24 hours, and like I think I sold 24 hats, 24 shirts, and like lanyards and stickers. That's all it was. Were you
shipping them out yourself, or
sorry?
Were you shipping them out yourself?
No. So this was also this was the very first time that I met my brand manager. So I didn't know this at the time, but I knew I needed to order merch not online because it was going to be more expensive. And he had messaged me a few times before this, like we were at the 5,000 point mark, and I think I'd put on the story like, can someone help me do merch? And so that's when I got connected with this guy, and his name was Matt. And I still work with him to this day. And he was my he acted as my brand manager for the first 3 years. And he still helps me on a lot of stuff, but just how the company's progressed, he didn't work for us for what we needed. But he works with me on a ton of stuff still, but just not as my brand manager. And so he got all the merch for me, and did a great job. And he actually was doing my order fulfillment, so that was like another kind of part of the deal. And like I think he started a merch brand like 20 years ago, and that's how he started off his whole career. And then he got into
so he's an older gentleman.
Yeah, well, he's like maybe like 35.
Okay.
So he's like, but he started when he's like 15. So it was a while ago. And he started his marketing agency maybe 8 years ago, but he's running both at the same time. And then, but he's also growing like in an insane amount. So, but in terms of his company and his staffing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been crazy there.
So you take it from merch, and like that's like full send shit, selling out your first drop.
Yeah, like
so you know you have right there. You know you have a loyal ass fan base.
Well, it's like, yeah, I sold out my first drop, but like sold out the first drop of like 50 items to you know 5,000 people.
But you just created a meme page and you're selling out merch. So
I mean, just think about that, like a meme page selling merch.
Yeah.
Right, and you've only got 5,000 followers, right?
And this is just like first 2 years.
This would have been like the first whole year. I didn't take it seriously. Would post one meme a week, and then forget about it. And then like, it just was not really like a serious thing at all. Like it was just completely like, you know, whatever. But this was in like the second year, so it was like probably like 1.5 years in at this point. So
a year and a half.
Yeah. So we're at the year and a half point at this point, and like right now we're at we're in year 3 of like it. So we'll go out. So we're at a year and a half now, and this is like our first merch drop and whatever. And then 1 month later, I wanted to host my first event, so I was like kind of riding this high of like, yo, I made $500 off this, like let's try to host an event. So I contacted all the bars in Lethbridge and was like super pumped I was gonna host an event, and they all said no. They said, who the hell are you? Get out of my bar, you're not hosting shit. And I said, all right, okay, that's kind of fair. And then I stumbled upon this one kind of like pub that was like also told me no, but I could see a little twinkle in his eye. So then I was thinking like, okay, maybe I can convince this guy. So like, I remember I literally had to go in and beg him. Like I was like, please, just give me one day to, you know, try and do something. And a really big thing about Lethbridge, which is kind of crazy, is that Thursday nights is actually the big party night. So it's like everyone goes on a Thursday night, and like nobody comes to their Monday or their Friday 9 a.m.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and
Studio, man.
yeah, there's a bar called Studio, which is no longer around, but that was like
It's
yeah,
not there anymore?
it's not there. The location is still there and the sign is still up, but they went out of business and no one has taken the location yet.
Someone needs to. That place is legendary to Lethbridge.
Yeah, I know. Like people were saying, like if you've ever been there, you will survive COVID, right? So
Maybe this is your
Damn.
next business endeavor.
well, that's a full nother discussion as well, which we can go into later. But
Mhm.
you know, the bar scene is takes a lot of time, and time is my most valuable asset at this point. So, you know, so try to convince this guy to host an event, and he said yes, and their venue was 220 people. Then they had a patio that got us an extra 100, and so but he said I couldn't charge cover, and I couldn't have any sponsors, and I couldn't have any guest list or anything like that, or shot specials. So
Damn.
literally nothing.
I would have just sold tickets at that point.
Well, he said we couldn't. He
Yeah.
says like
No guest list.
yeah, like nothing.
no.
So
Yeah.
basically he's just like, yeah, you can host it and you can tell people to come here, and that's it. And like because I kind of branded as like, I just want to build my brand. I just want to build the Wildin brand.
Yeah.
And that's like, or I guess that's how he kind of ended up convincing me of just being like, you can do it, but then you have to fall within all of our bar restrictions. And like, or it's not even a bar, it's a pub, like it's a sit down place. And basically when I got there, the only things I could do was I told him to turn the lights down and then turn the music up, and that's the only thing he allowed me to do in that whole place.
Damn.
So it was pretty.
How many people showed up?
Okay, so this is another little high point of my life. So, you know, it's like 8 p.m. I still remember this like crystal clear, and I remember it was 8 p.m. and I was just like so stressed out. I'm like, holy shit! Like I'm hosting this event, and it's so ridiculous, just like how this meme page is gonna host an event. And I'm just thinking like, man, like I shouldn't have done this. Like people are gonna be like shitting on me or like shitting on the page just because it's gonna be shitty, and like just because no shot specials, whatever. Yeah. And I remember going there at like maybe like 8:30 or something like that. Place was packed. 100% full. Every single spot was like it was a sit down place, so every single spot was completely full. And the bar manager was like, dude, like this is crazy, there's so many people here, whatever. It's like 150 people or whatever, 200 people in the venue. And then so when I got there, it was like we already knew that it was gonna get a little bit squishier. Like I knew that was, so I got them to take all the chairs off of like the bar, like directly on the bar, just so that you could be a stand-up bar, just so you can get more drinks out. And that's what they did. And then the whole night was like probably by like 11 there's like a 200 person lineup outside. So we had, and they opened up one of the patio doors even though it was snowing outside, and just to have the capacity to have 300 people inside the venue instead of like the 200. So we ended up bumping it up to 300. And I had a merch table there. That was the one thing that he also allowed me to have. So I remember we sold another like $500 of like profit of merch in that event, and so at the end of the night it was crazy. And I came home, and like I remember just like laying on my bed with like $400 or $500 and just being like, yo, this was so sick. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. But that was just kind of like another like high point in the you know growth of this. And so this is like a little bit past the 1.5 year point. And then COVID hit. So that was like a really, well, so actually I'm going to back up a little bit. So once we hosted that event, then I realized that we could, you know, do a little more. So I started taking it a lot more seriously after the event, just because I'm like, okay, there's enough traction here that we can continue to, you know, grow this organically and, you know, just work on our monetization streams. So, and the biggest one for me that like right off the bat was like, okay, I can sell ads and I can host events and I can sell merch. Those are the three that we're rolling on. And while being a full-time student, that's like what I can do, because I can do it all from home. I don't have to really be anywhere or do anything for that, other than design work, which is adding to my portfolio anyways, which I've always loved design. So I had no problem doing that. But the one thing I realized was like, okay, if I can do that all from here, why can't I just do it in other locations? So then hit up one of my really, really good friends, and I said, let's start a Calgary page. And so that was our first expansion of the Wildin network. And so we started Calgary Wildin, and like kind of the same thing. And at this point we kind of had like a little bit of a you know, like we had an idea of how we
Formula?
wanted to run it. Yeah, exactly. And so like content, like formula exactly, and like our post schedule and stuff like that. And so we were able to grow that page way quicker than the Lethbridge page.
You know, speaking of like formula, it's actually pretty crazy how like a lot of businesses think of social media as like this super intricate, difficult web of like fucking algorithms and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, there is an algorithm, but like Instagram in its like core essence is very simple. Right. It's all about content.
Yeah, content is king, bro.
That's literally it. And it's like a lot of people think, oh, okay, cool, man. If I post one post a day, right, or you know, one post every other day, right, then they're surprised why there's no like, there's no traction or anything like that.
That's why now, like, we formulated a schedule. Like, I've been bugging these guys for so long. Like, dude, I'm like, dude, we need to do this. We need to do this. Right. We have a schedule. Now we're going to be posting, like, 3 to 4 times a day instead of 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just keeps going up and more. Like, I'm sure you did that with Wildin, where you start off with 2 and, you know what I mean, just progressed.
Right now, we're doing around, like, 350 posts per day.
Oh, but that's throughout
the whole network.
Yeah, that's through, like, what, 10 pages or something like that?
15 pages, and that's stories and posts and ads. So
where are you all at now? You said Calgary was your first expansion.
Calgary's first expansion. Then we did Edmonton. So we did those 3, and then I bought a Red Deer page for $200 with 5K followers, and so that was like an immediate 5K expansion. And then we did Winnipeg, which was like now 1 year ago, and this was already in COVID when this started. We started the Winnipeg page, and now we have Sask, and we have and Vancouver, which I've just started in the last month, which are growing as well. And then we have a Desi page, which is like a lot of the friends that are helping me run this are East Indian, so like they wanted like an East Indian Canadian meme page, so which is actually like really blown up. It went from 0 to 16K in like 3 months, just and just because, you know, the Indian community is incredibly tight, so
very tight.
Yeah, they
a lot of like minority communities.
Yeah, of course,
tight.
And so they, you know, just like kind of pushed it through their own like personal branches, and then just like, you know, through their, like, one of my friends, he has like literally 500 cousins, and so like he literally just like put into this massive group chat and like, you know, had 300 followers, and then they all sent it to their friends and their and that sort of thing, so it grows quickly. So right now, we have 15 accounts. We're doing we have about 220,000 total followers, and actually last month, so March, we broke it was our highest view count month ever with 100 million views.
Wow.
So that was a goal.
God damn. Can I get it? I'll put that in the edits. I'll put that in there. Congratulations, man. That's fucking unreal, dude.
Awesome.
Shout out to that. Jeez.
That's a goal that we've been working on a long time, and I
don't think people understand like how amazing that is, bro. Like, we're talking like 100 million, man. That's like more than some fucking countries have in a population.
Yeah, exactly. So it's and the thing is, our network is exclusively in Canada too, right? So 90 to 95% of the people who are seeing our posts are from Canada. So that means that right now we're averaging about 3 views per Canadian.
Wow.
So that's wild. That's insane organic.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to also touch on, is that like a lot of sometimes one single account can have one post that gets 100 million views on Instagram, but that's not what happened with us. So that's all organic, and that's month after month. So it's no explore page. That's all truly organic, and you know, in person. So
killing it.
Yeah, and it's really insane, man. Like, just the company, and I'm only at the halfway through the timeline right now, but like, you guys have listened to the first boring half. Like the past year and a half has been, this is when shit has gone crazy. So so like, you know, right when COVID hit, we started doing our expansion, and it was insane because everyone was on their phone. The traction and our growth percentages were like 20 to 25% per month. So it's like we'd be at like, you know, 10K followers on an account, and then like the next month would be like 12.5 or you know 15, 17, and it was just growing like crazy. And right now we're averaging for the past 12 months of an 8 to 9% growth every single month of our total followers, total views. Wow. And that's compounding as well. So like you know,
I think us too, we hit the highest was last month. We did 20,000 right organic views.
That's incredible. Like,
which is pretty sick for like us really having less than 1,000 followers.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and that's when I was checking the numbers, like all Canadian,
Mhm.
right? So, and yeah, that's just something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, no, it's whenever I see all of these, like, it's really crazy because I look at myself and I see where I've come in such a short period of time, and I still think that I'm like a small pit, like small network. When in reality, we've grown so big so quickly that like now a lot of younger and smaller networks are looking up to us as to like what's like the bar, where do things have to be at, right?
I think that's what like a lot of other promotions companies in Calgary are really missing, because like there isn't, like, even when I talk to a lot of these guys, there's no vision, like really, like us, we have like, same with you and us, like there's bigger things that we want to do, huge shit, right? Not just the podcast, like booking shows, doing like, you know, growing like a media side type of thing,
right.
And a lot of these guys, when I talk to them, it's kind of just like, oh, like
same party
every week, and it's like, and it's like, okay, like, well, like what are you doing with the revenue? And the revenue is just like gone. And it's like, well, you're not really doing anything with it. Like your business now is just it's similar to a piggy bank, right? It's just like you just
me personally.
No, I'm talking about other people.
Oh, okay.
Other people, right? It's like not you. I'm talking about like most people, like a lot of promoters, right? Like they'll take the money and they won't do much with it,
right?
Other than burn it, right?
Yep.
Take a lighter and fucking burn it.
Invest it, go travel, you know.
Right? Like, but like you're saying, which you'll explain in your expansion.
Yep.
There's more to the picture, right? There's more to the vision than just, oh, yo, we're gonna throw a rager, we're gonna do a podcast, we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna book this artist. Nah, there's a method to the madness.
This is like an ideology thing of mine, but just like what I've really realized in the past like 2 years is like 99% of people talk about doing it, and it's the 1% who just actually do it that accomplish it. And that's why they're the 1%, is because instead of talking about it, they actually do it. And that's something that me personally, I just think that if I work every single day and everything I have to do, one thing is that just start small and scale, because the thing is there's no point in hosting a 4,000 person event 2 months from now, 3 months from now. I want to host a 400 person event tomorrow. It's like, what do I need to do tomorrow? I need to make money tomorrow, and then next week I'm gonna do 1,000, and then next week I'm gonna do 1,500, and then next week I'm gonna do 2,000, and then that 4,000 event is only 5 weeks away instead of 2 months away, right? And it's like, now I've scaled up and I can go even bigger than whatever my biggest dreams were. But the thing is just doing it, and
don't tell people shit.
Well, anyone who reaches out to me and is asking me for advice or money, like I'll always give it to them. And like,
no, I don't mean like that. I meant like in terms of like, I've heard this saying where like, if you keep shit to yourself, like your visions, there's a higher chance of you achieving them. I feel like the more that you talk about something, you talk about it so much that you start to lose focus. Right. And then it's just more like it's more like an idea and not something you like actually want to conceptualize and be like, yo, I'm actually exactly like you were saying. It's like, yo, just fucking do it. Like, don't talk about it. Just fucking do it. Like, if you want to do this, if you want to do that, just do it. Like, don't
keep your nose down, hustle.
Yeah,
just like stay humble. That's one thing about you. Like,
let people find out about it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I've known you for a few years, right? Never had that ego. You're like the nicest guy ever. You're the greatest host. Instantly, I walked through this guy's door, shots of Pink Whitney, rum and cokes getting fed down my throat, and then out of nowhere, I just saw Tom Brady and Sidney Crosby, a couple goats, literal goats. I was making a joke about Tom and Sid, but these goats just came into this party. So very humble, very, very great host.
From like a business point of view, I try to stay very private. So you know, we're always working, and the thing is when you're working 24/7, like. You can't. If I was to tell everyone about what I was doing, like, people would just get bored and they'd just be like, "Okay, like whatever." Whereas if I just stay focused, always focused on it, and it's like the amount of people that just spend time like bragging about what they're doing is just like, it's so, they're spending so much time doing that when they could just be making money.
And that's what I meant. I meant like, you know, like, and like, honestly, the less time that you do bragging, the more time you could use that to make money.
Yeah.
Exactly like you just said.
Like time is the most valuable thing. If someone was to say, how would you value time? I'd say $10,000 an hour for sure. Like,
And people don't really care. Like, honestly, people really don't give a shit about, like, it's more like when you do tell them, they're like, oh, whatever, man, like,
right.
this guy. But when you actually do it, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This guy fucking did it. Like, my one of my friends, Eli, shout out Eli if you're listening to this. Bro, this guy is so fucking low-key, man. Low-key, bro. He comes up to me, and out of nowhere, he's like, yo, I got a new tequila brand. What? What happened to the one? Oh, no, that's the second one. Doesn't tell anybody shit, bro. And this guy, like, his trajectory, like, what? I'm so proud of him, man. Like, the things that he's done. Like, I remember, man, me and him were talking, and he was so stressed out, bro. And he was like, fuck, man. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know where, like, this shit is taking me.
Right.
But he never gave up. 2 weeks later, bro, shit just went through the roof. And this guy was like, I don't know what to do. I need to hire people.
Right.
He's got, like, a sales team now.
Yeah, of course.
Crazy, man.
So with that, have you ever, like, he was saying there was a point when your buddy was kind of just like, fuck, like, am I going to be able to make this? Have you ever been, like, I know cancel culture is huge. Have you ever, like, tried to been canceled, or, like, one of your parties went off and people didn't like it?
Or did you ever feel like down and out?
Yeah.
Honestly, we've never had any real issues with that. Like, we're very, very careful with it right from the get-go. And, like, this is something that we talk about all the time. Like, our brand image is the number one most important thing to us. And it's making sure that, like, whenever we think about what are our core values, number one is funny. That's what we want, funny. And it's like, if you go to any meme page on Instagram, like, there's nothing that'll be cancelable about any of them, because they're all run by corporate businesses. Like, Warner Brothers owns 90% of meme pages right now.
They own Fuck Jerry, right?
Yeah, and they also own Daquan, who was bought from...
Daquan is actually a Calgarian.
Is that the kid from here?
Uh-huh.
The kid we were
That's
talking
him.
about?
Yeah,
Shout
that's
out
him.
Daquan.
Yeah,
Yo, 11 million
now.
followers, bro.
17.6 right
17.6.
Yep.
Oh.
And he was young.
He was young, man.
Right?
I think he was 18 when I first, like, heard about him.
Yeah.
And we were trying to book him at this club, but the kid is a ghost.
Yeah,
no one
big
knows what he
time.
looks like.
If we can get that guy on the pod, bro.
I don't even know where he is, bro. I know one
Purple.
guy. I know one guy that's friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what I can do. Hold up. Let me reach out to him.
If you can get in contact with him, I'd love to chat with him as well.
Okay. Let's set something out, man. The day that I saw Nick Cannon doing a fucking what's it called, Instagram Live on Daquan, I was like, yo,
this guy made it.
This guy made it, bro.
Like the kid sold it when he was 18 to IGN Media, which is the
gaming network.
Yeah, and so it's based out of Florida. So they took it over, and or at least this is what I understand from just reading up, was that so they bought it for $3 million off of him, and he still owned a percentage of the company when he was 18, and then IGN grew all of the network around it. So they grew Snapchat, they grew Facebook, and they just pushed from the Instagram, and then they sold it 2 years later to Warner Brothers for $83 million. And so the kid who has it, he's 100% retired now, and he's living on dividend payouts for the rest of his life. So
Damn.
yeah, so he's probably like made $10 million before the age of 20 just from meme pages. So and that's like the ultimate success story. But it's crazy to see that happened to a kid here in Calgary, right?
It just shows that, a small
yeah, of course
can do it too, right?
Starting small and just grinding on it, right? Like nothing happens overnight, so it's like it's consistency, bro. Like we're doing 350 posts a day, but the thing is, that shit's every day. That's on my birthday, that's on Christmas, that's on the day my grandma dies. It's every day. This shit doesn't stop, right? So it's actually funny that you say that, because
Oh, shit. Yo, hold on. You'll see stare at the camera?
I'll give you guys a photo that you guys can put it
I'll
in.
put it on there.
I got that live tat, and it's just a just a reminder that every single day you grind. There's no days off. Absolutely no days off in this world. So so yeah, that's kind of like my thought process. So I want to finish off the back half of the story, because back half of the timeline, just so that it's kind of cohesive on the timeline of this podcast. So so we started expanding all of the pages, and that's at this point. This is when I was hiring admins. So now there's me. There's the other girls that run the page, and they're kind of tapering out at this point. And I'm hiring some new admins for the page. And then we have an admin running every single other Wildin page across Canada. And so that was like the first time when we're now a team. We're now a team of admins that are running this instead of just one individual kind of organizing it with a help from some of their friends. And so at this point we had brand manager, and then which is that guy who's doing all of our merch, and he is advising me on a lot of PR stuff, because I really didn't know how much was involved in PR until he started telling me about it, and like, you know, how to cross my T's and dot my I's and make sure that my name is out there, but in the right ways, and that sort of thing. So that was a really, really big help, and he gave me all of that work for free. So shout out Matt if you're listening to this.
Shout out Matt.
Yeah, he's done so much for me over the years, and if I ever make $1 million, I'm definitely gonna take him on a trip to Mexico or something like that. But yeah, so that at that point, that's when we kind of had like a team. It was just, you know, like an iMessage group chat where everyone would chat, and they at that point we did the merch, and then how I had set up my life was that through all of this, I was a university student, and I would go and I worked in reforestation camps in northern BC, and then I'd also work in like fire camps fighting the wildfires as a medic. So it was a really, really good money maker. So like I was able to make an insane amount of money every summer, and then pay for my entire year of school and all my living expenses and all my partying, and I'd still have like 50% left over when I went back for work. So by the end of my 5 years in uni, I had like a very like sizable amount of money that I could have put towards a house or whatever. But I decided to I talked to my parents and I said, look, I'm gonna actually I like at this point the company was growing, and while I was out there, I was working 16 hours a day, and then going to the top of this mountain, or like this big hill that was kind of close to my work camp, because we were living in a bush camp, to get service. And then I was working from my laptop, hotspotting from my phone every night, doing all my brand deals for all my pages. And so like my 16-hour work days were like 20-hour work days, and I'd sleep 4 hours and then just get right back. And it's hard manual labor work, right? So it's walking 16 to 20 kilometers every day with like
pack and shit,
packs and stuff like that. And the medic job was a little bit easier. I was a heli medic, so whenever there's like people that got burned on the fire line and stuff, I would come in and do that. So that was my gig. And my winter gig was ski patrol. So that was like how I even got into like that whole kind of medical field. But yeah, just essentially working with trauma victims. And so that's how I made money throughout all of uni, and did that. And ski patrol is just so I could ski for free, because ski passes are insanely expensive. And yeah, so then I kind of talked to my parents, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to take this seriously. Like the summer had gone really, really well. Like I was working, but like just with the brand deals, it was a full-time job at this point, and I was working it in these like insane hours. And when I came back, it was just continuing to grow. And then at this point I said, okay, I think I should take it seriously. And I told my parents that I'm going to invest the money into this business that I had made over the 5 years, and which wasn't all of it, but it was just enough that like, and it was just kind of investing in myself. And now I'm using those funds to live off of for, the next 2 or 3 years while the company can build up its revenue stream, so I can, eventually pay myself, get like a full payroll going in and pay myself. So this is a lot of times when I talk to founders, they're like, bro, you should be paying yourself right from the beginning. But I'm just like, I'm so convinced that this is going to work that I just can't. I'm like, I want to reinvest every single penny and like live as broke as I possibly can, just so that I can, it's like if you invest $10 a day, when you're 50, you have $1 million, but then you invest $100 a day in that, then you have $100 million when you're 50, right? So it's like, that's like my thought process. I just want to invest every single penny and dime that I have. And
how'd that conversation go over with your parents? Were
not
they a little bit
not good, not great. And I convinced them eventually. Like they just didn't understand it. And like I was running this business for a couple of years, and like I didn't really tell them about it. Like I was living in 3 provinces away, and I told them, I was making a little bit of money online, whatever, they thought it was like maybe $50, $100 a month, when in reality, it kind of got up to the with all the brand deals and stuff, like I don't know, maybe 1 to 2K a month, which is like definitely like a livable amount of money, right? And
especially working from your laptop.
Yeah, exactly. And like while I'm a student as well, and working other jobs, so that was like a explaining it to them, and like they weren't on Instagram, they don't kind of like, they're not even that old. They're both in their early 50s, but they just like didn't really understand like the ecosystem of making money on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to like sit them down, and we had like literally an 8-hour talk about what exactly I was doing, and showing them Instagram, and like going the ins and outs, and like showing them the stock prices of how much these tech companies are worth, because they just had no idea. They had no clue what was going on, and like breaking down everything and going through how we were doing the books and all that, because they thought I was doing it illegally, like just like making cash on, well, like in the way of like
not claiming taxes,
making cash and not claiming taxes, exactly, which we didn't in like the first like year and a half, just
Who
because
really
like,
does though,
it wasn't enough money to like to be claimable at that point. So and then once I like decided that, like, you know, by summer, so this is now like whatever 9 months ago, I finished my job in late August, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna go 100% in on this thing, all in. And that's what I did, and like it made the world of the difference. Like the network immediately started growing way quicker. All of the brand deals were getting way easier, and like it's a lot more of my time doing, you know, account managing and that sort of thing. But we hired on a full legal team, so like a contracted legal team, like just through like a law firm, and then same thing with an accounting firm. So brought those guys on, and then I started taking on just like mentoring from a couple different like VCs. One of the guys who's helped me a lot is Sam Abbey. So if you're listening to this, thank you for all of your time and everything. And so he does
VC where in
he's based out of Winnipeg, but he works a lot in like Toronto and Vancouver, and he works in tech. So he's done a lot for me, and he's pointing me in the right directions of how to grow my company in a sustainable way for tech. And I'm a little bit more in media than tech, but like there's still enough crossover that it helps out. And he's put me in contact with, you know, Winnipeg Economic Development, and to be able to expand my company as quickly as possible. And then if we ever do eventually take on seed round investment, he'll be running our round for us. So it's been a great relationship, and so taking on mentors like that have been incredible. And you know, another one that I've just recently gone in contact with is the guys from Daily Hive. So you know, they started in 2008 as like a blog, and then 2014 on Instagram, and then now they're 96 employees based out of half of Toronto, half of Vancouver, and the two guys who started are like early 30s and just absolutely killing it. So got in contact with them, and one of them is going to mentor me full time now, so to try to continue to grow my network and hopefully be, you know, at least 1% of what these big players are, right? So and that's where we're at now. So
bro, you fucking kill the game.
Yeah.
One of our so we've been building our like revenue streams as well. So you know, the events, now that COVID is really chilling out here in Canada, you know, building our events revenue stream. And one of the ones that we're getting into right now is, so I built a website, and this was through that guy Matt, my brand manager. Thank you. He helped me build a full-fledged, you know, $10,000 articles website, which is actually live right now, but nobody knows about it. I haven't like put out the domain for people to know. It's just wildin.ca. But I hired content writers, so they're writing right now stories, and we're gonna try to get the website up and running, and then push, you know, a small percentage of those 100 million monthly views to that website, and where there'll be banner ads, and we'll make, you know, money off of like Google AdSense. So that's like one of our expansions that's happening right now in terms of monetization. And then we're also moving into a studio. So this has been kind of in the works for the past year as well, but it's just been like hemming and hawing and trying to find the right space. But we've like officially locked in a space. We started paying rent this month, actually April 1st, and it's a 3,000 square foot studio. We're putting in a second floor for an office upstairs, and then the downstairs will be a full content studio, so we'll be able to film podcasts and YouTube videos and that sort of thing.
This is in Winnipeg?
This is in Winnipeg, correct? Yeah. So
boys are gonna fly out and
check out we're gonna have like a full you know, like launch party and stuff, so we'd love to have you guys out if you guys are interested in coming. And I think we're probably gonna like be aiming for like August at this point, because the renovation is quite expensive, and you know, there's just so much.
Material's expensive nowadays, eh?
Yeah, the material and the labor, bro. Like the labor is, man, like a plumber is like $60,000 to come in and cut some concrete and lay a few, like, you know,
peace out.
lay like 50 feet of pipe, so it's insane. But hey, good for the tradesman making that cash. So the studio will be a major expansion for us. But then the last revenue stream that I'm working on right now is we're gonna try to release our own, just because events are so good, we're gonna try to release our own alcoholic drink, which is Wildin iced tea, which I put the down payment for on last Wednesday. And yeah, so I ordered.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank
crazy.
you. Yeah, no,
Congratulations,
it
bro.
is crazy. We're working with an incredible like winery in Winnipeg, and it's kind of crazy because initially we were thinking about doing like a tonic, like whatever, seltzer, but like we're looking at the actual forecast of seltzers, and like they're doing really poorly right now. Like the drop off is insane, and so a lot of places are just cutting their seltzers right out, and so it's kind of a fad. Whereas iced tea, that's what we're doing, is just very consistent, and like there's no new players in the game really, and so our goal is just to try to kind of come in and get a little bit of that market in
like there's only like two really. You got like
Hale iced tea, which is based out of Vancouver,
Hale and
American Vintage,
Twisted Tea.
and Twisted Tea. Yeah, Twisted Tea is about 80% of the market share right now. And so in Manitoba alone, there was $10 million in hard iced tea sales in 2021. So
just 10% of that.
yeah, well, that would be great. The thing is our scale ability is not it's hard to offer the same prices and get the same margins as some of these other brands. Just
It's because they have so much purchasing power, right?
Exactly.
So it's like,
well, they're also making 5 million cans of this versus me making 8,000 cans and printing labels out of my mom's
You guys have any dates set for launch?
So our goal is to be 100% ready to go June 1st, and it'll be on tap. So we're gonna try to do like a on tap launch in Manitoba first, and then it'll be on all liquor store and vendors, because in Manitoba there's just one Manitoba Liquor that buys everything, and it has to go through their stores. There's no privatized.
Same here. It's through Liquor Connect.
Well, I think they're like, you guys have privatized like sellers though, like Great Canadian Liquor or Sobeys Liquor, right?
But like they all get it through one place.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it still goes through Connect.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a business, you still have to buy. Like the government controls like all liquor. But you can buy it privately from private businesses. You can, yes, you just need like an invoice, something like that from them.
I think sorry, what I meant was like in Manitoba, like even though the government buys it, like you can only buy it in, they're called MLCCs. So they own all the liquor
BC?
stores.
Like BC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
because here you have private liquor stores, Alberta.
Yeah, so exactly. So here I actually have to go and like sell my product to these private, like Great Canadian Liquor, for example, or Sobeys Liquor, and then they have to buy it from the government. So if I don't go around and do that sales pitch,
you're right,
the government will buy it, but then they'll just either sit on the stock and never buy it from us again, or if they don't have any request to buy, they just won't buy it.
And crazy thing that you guys don't know, fucking in Alberta, he actually has to pay for how many days it sits in there. Yeah. So if he's not moving the product, it's actually costing him money.
Right. The last couple of weeks, I've met with a few drink presidents and salespeople, and I've started to realize how much work actually has to go into getting your alcohol on the shelf. And how many people it has to go through from Ontario to Alberta. It's an insane little business. But shout out you for making that.
Yeah, so we're going to try to do June 1st on tap, July 1st in all MLCCs in Manitoba, and then vendors, and then we're going to try to do a Saskatchewan and Alberta expansion in probably like late July, early August.
I heard Alberta's not that difficult.
Alberta's not difficult, and neither is Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is the same as Alberta, where they do have private sellers, but the thing is that 80% of liquor sold by private sellers in Saskatchewan is through Co-op and Sobeys. So you basically just need to pitch to two brands, and that is 80% of all the liquor sales, right?
Like I work for a beverage company as well, and that's literally, we just got a whiskey into all the Sobeys and Co-ops. Yeah, and it's literally just like email work, man. Just
I know. And
it's the shelf space that's the hard.
It's like I have warehouse space already booked for it, and so I think we should be good on that. But like I think I got 8,000 cans of this product to start off. That was like the minimum order quantity that I could get, and So it's gonna be crazy. I like, this is one of those things where I'm like nervous going into it, but then I'm just like, everything else that I've ever done, this shit blows up. So it's like, why wouldn't this, right? And our worst case scenario, which is also our best case scenario, is that we can just sell this at our events and $5 a can, and technically it's private sale, so we still do need to cut in the government. But we can cut out any markup for like the middleman's, right? So it's like we pay the tax and then we just sell it ourselves, and that's it. Which is like pretty incredible. So 8,000 cans, like we could sell that out very, very quickly.
I might need 8,000 cans to myself, bro. This shit sounds good already.
The retail price on a 473, so like the taller cans, will be $3.69. So it's like if you were to buy like the single cans from like the liquor store, and you just go into like the craft beer section or whatever, like usually everything's kind of between like $3 to $4, I think. So it is a little bit on the higher side. Like I think Hey Y'alls are like $3.49 and Twisted Teas are like $3.19, so it's like 50 cents more than, or 40 cents more than, no, it is 50 cents more than. So that's the only thing. But the thing is, we have to make it a little bit profitable for us, and then just so that we can get up to a higher order quantity, and then obviously our margins increase. Like,
have you already tried it? Obviously.
Yeah. So
did you go sit down and do like a bunch of tastings?
Yeah, we did. So I got the drink originally, and I knew generally what I wanted already. So I told them what I wanted, and then I put it through a focus group of 30 people, and they all said it was too sweet. So, and we had like maybe like 5 different flavors that were all very similar. But so we gave it to them, and then like actually there's one flavor that just was like way better than all the rest. So a lot of people chose that one. So like immediately we knew which of the flavor profiles which one we wanted to go with, and then we just needed to work on the sweetness. So we ended up actually like trying out like different like solution amounts and stuff. What ended up working best was just straight up watering it down 30%, and we had to obviously add a little bit more liquor as well to balance it out. But one thing that's interesting about it is because we're working with the winery, it's actually made from a cider base, not like a vodka base. So it's like already like the alcohol flavor is also like berry like ish, like berry, it's kind of like sweet. So it's not like a vodka like hand sanitizer. So it's like it's technically like a sangria iced tea drink. So good, man. And so like adding the water was like brought the sweetness down a bunch, and everyone was just like, holy shit, this is great. And our goal is to have it on tap, so it's like you can order it on tap and then like get like a 20-ounce pint of it with like a little bit of ice in it and just drink it.
It's actually cheaper for you if you get it on tap.
It's a lot cheaper for us, and we make a lot more money on tap.
Just slang kegs, man.
As soon as it opens up in Alberta, let's snag it.
Yeah,
I want it on tap somewhere.
Yeah, on tap.
Yeah, if you guys can facilitate it, I can pay you guys. I'm trying to get into.
Hey, we can talk
if
you're trying to get into places. I can probably help you.
If you can do that, I'll give you money. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. Yeah, that's a story for a different thing. One thing I want to ask you, man, is what advice would you have for anybody that's thinking of not just starting like an Instagram page or events or anything like that? Anybody that wants to start a business, that's in school, that's young.
Just I've already said it, just do it. like
I'm gonna throw
don't start
Nike
tomorrow.
swoosh.
Everyone starts tomorrow. You gotta start today. You have to start right now. Like go into your room and do it right now. Write out all your ideas, what you want to do, and put a time beside it. Be like, I need to do this by this time. And it's like a checklist, but for like your life, right? And like that would be like my number one advice, I think, is just doing it. And like honestly, I feel like people ask me stuff like this, and I'm like, this is just my own ideas, and like it's not. I'm not even paying myself. I'm still in debt from all of this as I continue to, reinvest back into the company. But from like a work motive point of view, I think a lot of people just see me working constantly, and like a lot of my work is having fun, obviously. But it's just like to always just keep doing more. There's always more you can do. So it's like whenever you're think you're tired or something, you're just like 20% more, 10% more, and it's just baby steps, bro. Like you don't have to do a crazy amount, just do one thing, and just like that's already, if you make yourself 1% better every day, that shit adds up really quick.
It's like Muhammad Ali when he would do like crunches.
Yeah,
he would say when he started to feel the pain is when he would start at 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the best days to train are the rainy days when no one else is training.
That Mamba mentality. Mamba mentality. That's how Kobe was, man. Kobe was just like Kobe, man, I was actually
R.I.P.
listening to.
Kobe, man.
I was actually listening to Kobe, and like he actually wasn't, in his opinion, that great of a basketball player. Like when he compared himself to like Michael Jordan and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
But he was just tenacious.
The guy was a different.
He was just
breed,
like
man.
he's literally he said I'm not fast. I don't have
Oh yeah, I've
I don't
seen
have
this.
big hands. My vertical's like 42. It's not 46, not 48. He's like, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to strengthen my hands to be able to maneuver the ball the way that I want. I'm gonna strengthen my legs to jump higher. I'm gonna angle my shots in a way that works for my body, knowing that I can't,
Right.
play like MJ or something like that. It's like I'll play like how I can.
I keep a list of quotes in my phone that like when I read them I'm just like holy
Mhm.
shit, that's crazy. And I've like, after like maybe like a year I'll go through and I'll like filter out all the ones that I don't feel as crazy about, and so I've had these like this really curated list of quotes, and like one of them I was just looking at right now, but it's never underestimate a man that overestimates himself. And just so it's like someone who is just always like I'm gonna do it is just like the most valuable person to the team. And like when I read that quote originally I was just like holy shit, that's insane. Never underestimate a man that overestimates himself. And
Shit, though. Seriously.
when everyone comes from nothing, everyone's a nobody. Every single person's a nobody, and everyone creates what they are because they want to or because they've earned it. Like it's not handed for free to anyone, so
Yeah, you create your own reality, right?
yeah, exactly. Fake it till you make it, bro. Like I've done a lot of that in my life already. Like
Oh yeah.
That's what it is, man. Honestly, like, because if you want to like play the big field and like actually do it, right, you're gonna have to start somewhere.
Of
Then
course.
after that, because like I own my own business, right,
Mhm.
for the ones, and I've done the same thing. So I'm not a designer, right?
Right.
But I fake it till I make it,
Mhm.
and then I come up with cool shit after doing like 20 designs. So one is gonna be something like it triggers my mind. I'm like, that's the one.
Right.
And you're gonna figure it out on the way, and just like you said, man, never give up. Just keep going.
Yep.
Literally.
That's like my overall just mentality on life, man. Just whenever I wake up, just do it right now. It's like get up, make your bed. It's 7:00 in the morning every single day. Just
You guys
No
ever heard
desire.
of, there's this Charlie Dream guy, he's a YouTuber, but he does the same thing. It's like get up, and his big thing is winning streak. So he's like, okay, so you get up first thing in the morning, you make your bed, make a cup of coffee, and do something else, whatever, shower. Right there, you've done 3 things to make your day better, winning streak. So already you start off every
Mhm.
day doing 3 simple things, you're on a
Yeah.
winning streak. Keep riding that high, keep doing your shit.
right.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I try to do. I try to never leave my house without making my bed.
Yeah.
I said
Never.
that I make my bed, but I'll be honest with you guys, I don't make my bed.
No,
So
like,
like-
no, like,
Apple?
no, dude. I like maybe out of the 30 days in a month, I probably miss 2. But
That's
like,
it.
yeah, like I like try to like, dude, like even like let's say I'm late and I'm heading somewhere, and I'll be like, I'll look at my bed and I'm in a rush. I'll be like, fuck, I'll put my bag down and I'll make my bed, and then but it actually teaches you like, even when you're looking at something and it seems like you can't do it, you probably fucking can.
Oh yeah.
You can do anything. People just need to have the effort to do it. That's honestly what I say.
Yeah.
Effort takes no talent.
No,
Zero. Yo, wasn't it Will Smith who said fucking you might be what's it called? Talent will never outwork hard work.
Yeah. Of
Never.
course. Yeah.
Cuz talent makes you lazy.
That's true. It is true.
It does. And even if you look at the most talented people, you think it's talent, but it's actually like hard work in disguise.
Yeah.
I
always.
think true talent is hard work in disguise.
Right.
Because if you look at like, let's say, like, Steph Curry was like a shit basketball player.
I didn't know that.
You ever seen footage of Joel Embiid in senior year, grade 12? The guy couldn't play basketball.
Bro,
the guy
Steph
looked
Curry.
like me playing basketball.
Yo, Steph Curry in his senior year, bro. Trash. Right?
He's probably still a little
But
better than
now,
me.
yeah, he's probably better than all of us, right? But bro, like he legit, I think he was like 1,000 shots, like 2,000 shots. Like he would like 1,000 or 2,000 shots a day,
Wow.
every day, bro, in the gym,
Yeah.
constantly. Now he's like I'm pretty sure he's the highest 3-point shooter of all time.
Oh,
He
definitely.
surpassed that now.
Yeah,
he
This
just-
year,
yeah.
this year.
He is.
Joel Embiid, man. Like I was saying, senior year couldn't play basketball. Like had no idea. this year he's a leading scorer. The first time a center's been leading scorer since Shaq. So, you know, you put your head down, you grind your hustle. you get the greatness.
Or Pascal Siakam. He started playing ball when he was 19.
Dang.
Hey, real quick,
He
though,
never picked up a basketball
Wow.
before 19.
Wow.
real quick.
And now he's in the fucking NBA, bro, with a ring championship.
Shout out Toronto Raptors. We're making a run this year in playoffs, but watch it happen.
Yeah, they got dusted.
Yeah, they got dusted yesterday. Okay, and we're gonna lose 3 players in Game 2 tomorrow. But I'm still betting on the Raps. You know, we're getting rich off this playoff series. Freddie's going off.
They got it. They
Dude,
got it. Everybody place their
he's
bets.
dead.
As soon as we pass Philly, then you can come at me. Until then, like, just watch Nick Nurse do his magic.
Damn. Man, I think. Do you really think the Raptors are gonna take it this year?
Not the ship, but they can. They can easily set up some big teams like Philly. I think they could easily upset Brooklyn. They won the season series. It's just now you've got you face Brooklyn, man. I'm not gonna put anything against KD. That guy can take over a game. That guy's one of the greatest of all time.
Yo, I just remembered. Hey, did you watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I remember episode 1. I was gonna ask you if you watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No.
This is the grilling. Yeah.
No.
This guy's
didn't
never
watch
watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No, I've never watched it.
Really?
No.
I should beat your ass.
I remember watching it as a kid. When I came home, it was always on, like after school. So I'd always
That's
watch
legendary.
I've never watched it. Dude.
The last podcast we brought this up, and then we found out George didn't watch it. And
Right.
So we grilled him. You have to watch it. You have to watch
it.
it.
Right.
I said I would watch it. I never watched it.
He didn't
I
watch
feel
it.
like from like a cultural point of view, like it's like there's a lot of like pop culture references like nowadays from Fresh Prince, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that when I was younger I never really realized until now that I'm older.
Right.
I never knew how fucked up SpongeBob was.
There's a lot of like adult
Yeah.
jokes.
Yo, these cartoonists
Yeah.
were like these artists were really like fucking around, man. They were doing some fucking raunchy shit.
I miss that era though. Like I watch, everything is so
Nothing's the same.
prim and pristine now.
Yeah.
That it's just I don't like it.
Nobody wants to get canceled. That's
yeah,
why,
well,
man.
like I don't know. Part of me is just like in the mindset of like you can't get canceled if you don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we like it's true. Like we like you could all be like Kanye and just not give a fuck and
Yeah.
just say like
4 years
whatever
ago,
the
I'll be
fuck.
the Dave Portnoy of our
Yeah.
generation.
Well, yeah.
That's the same shit.
Yo,
you
the
could say,
Canadian
this is why
Portnoy?
This is why
Is
you're
the Canadian Portnoy?
Well, I don't want to be taking crazy titles like this because
It's
I don't
Canadian
think I've
porno.
earned it yet. But you know, maybe in a couple of years.
Yo, Dave, if you ever watch this, yo, holla at my boy.
Shout out Dave. We'll pull some strings. We know
Yeah?
some people.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. No, you're fucking killing the game right now.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for coming on and telling us all this.
No,
Yeah,
it's
man.
great. Yeah, like you know, we've got lots of plans. We got lots of really big things planned for our future, and you know, well, I'd be happy to have you guys come out to our
Cool.
studio and do all of that. There's lots more
100%,
going
let's
on.
Go
so-
rage again. This guy's the best host ever, man.
Blackout.
Oh man, thank you, Bryn. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Bryn, for stopping by the studio.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's. I'm happy to be here.
You got anything else? What are some finishing notes here? What's for the future of Wildin?
That's a crazy question
Well,
because
you got your drink.
Got the
what's your
drink,
this year?
like the drink, the studio, YouTube website. That's like immediate plans. But man, we like. I know we were talking about maybe opening up a bar, and like we've thought about in Winnipeg. That's where my parents are from, so that's where like we'll probably be based out for a little bit. But my goal is to after these 4 items that will probably take me 6 to 8 months to kind of expand on. I would like to potentially, well, for sure. Okay, well, actually, before that is payroll. I really want to get a payroll set up so that I can hire on staff and then, you know, do that so that like we can actually have everyone's getting paid, and then from at that point, then I'll be able to like apply for grants. There's a lot of like grant funding that I can get at that point to help out with staffing needs and like, you know, the cost of that as well. But so payroll is something that it's like a personal goal of mine, just to get that set up, just so I can start paying myself and paying the guys that are putting in a lot of time. I'd really like to hire a business executive team, so a team of, you know, 3 or 4 people completely behind the scenes that will do all of the account, like not all of the account managing for like our brand deals. So they'll like, you know, do all the reaching out and all the money and all that sort of thing.
All the development and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. And like, so because that's something that like I'm not great at, to be honest with you. Like I don't have a business degree or anything, and a lot about business is just like, you know, doing it and being an entrepreneur, but there's like a lot of it where like if you had a specialized person to do it, they could do it a lot more efficiently than I can. So I've realized that there's a lot of things that I could hire someone else to do, and that would be really, really great. So that's something that I'd like to do as well in the next, like, you know, 1 year. But open up a second studio in Vancouver, Toronto, you know, expanding into, you know, primary markets is really a long-term goal for us, I guess. And, you know, being in Winnipeg doesn't really give us the opportunity to have like the same creative staffing abilities that being in a place like Toronto or Vancouver would provide to us.
It's just a bigger talent pool.
Exactly. And like a lot of the people who, like, when you look at media, for example, like media is like based out of Toronto or Vancouver for Canada. Like there's no one based anywhere else other than those two places. There's maybe Montreal a little bit. But so that's one thing that like we would like to do, I think, eventually. So in terms of actual our studio expansion, and it's a good question. Like there's so many like things that I want to do. It's like opening up my own bar. Like that's not even through the company. That just like I want to do that personally, just so that I love craft. Craft is my favorite. Like aesthetically, I love it, and I wish I could open that in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is like has a horrible bar scene. I love working with them all, but like they're all just kind of like, you know, nightclubs, not really like they don't have that like food and then after party like higher class
which is
aesthetic,
wild, you know? Because like revenue wise it would make more sense.
Yeah, I think so too. And like Winnipeg like has the market for it. Like people will come to it if I was to do it. So I keep thinking, like, I think startup cost for something like that is like north of $4 million. So like I need to save up for a little bit.
Big goals, but I know I know you.
Yeah,
I know you'll probably get whatever you dream of one day. 'Cause you'll work your ass off for it.
Yeah, well, the other part of it is like I'm gaining all my experience in this media sector, whereas like moving into a restaurant sector would be kind of just a complete, you know, pivot in like exactly the direction that I was going. But you know, we'll see. We'll see.
You
never know.
So yeah, that's kind of like my long-term goals, and you know, expand my partnerships with, you know, brands around Canada, and you know, continue hosting and expand our event hosting, and you know, Vancouver and Saskatchewan are really going to push our pages over the next, you know, 6 months, try to grow those as well, and then we have kind of all of Western Canada on lock after that point, and then we're just going to try to, you know, continue growing. So every single day I get, you know, brand requests and people asking me random things that I'm just like, wow, I never even thought about that. Like it's really, really crazy, like the amount of opportunities that we have with this style of company. Like we're not, you know, I didn't open up like a rice company where my goal, I have to harvest rice and ship rice, and the only way I can grow the company is just by like doing that or creating more products. Whereas with this company, I'm a promotional service. You know, I can create content. I can go, you know, open up a bar. I can do literally anything, right? So the options are endless with it.
Very
so
versatile. Very versatile.
Exactly. So it's it's been a ride, and I feel like my life I'm moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour right now, but I'm still going faster and faster every single day, you know.
Are you just always in the flow state then?
Always in flow state, bro.
That's the next step.
Phone in one, and then my laptop. It's just like I'm literally married to my phone and my laptop, bro. I can't be without them.
Never stop. So no, this is why you're at where you're at, because you work your ass off.
Thank you.
The grind is real. The grind is real.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me today. I really appreciate your guys' time, and this is my first like true podcast experience, so it's been great.
Much love. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool.
And that's it, guys. We're gonna wrap up this podcast with our boy Bryn. Shout out to him for pulling up. This is the Onlyvibes squad. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. We'll see you guys. Peace.